Hi, welcome to the first vlog of 2026. I almost said 2025. Today I'm gonna do a reading vlog for this book. So, this is Norwegian Wood by Murakami, Haruki Murakami, to make sure that I'm talking about the correct Murakami because what was that one video with those two celebrities who were talking about two different Murakamis? Guys, guys. So I'm gonna be reading Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. This is my first book by this author. I have actually heard a lot of things on the internet about this guy, specifically about the way that he writes women. And I always assumed that I would never pick up one of his books. But first, it was a pen pal of mine who kind of persuaded me to read books by this dude, which is when I bought this in the first place. And then I have a really close friend of mine who also picked up this book recently. And I was like, hey, let's read it together. So I'm going to be giving this a shot, I guess. You can probably tell that I'm feeling a little bit reserved with this book. And that's not just because of what I've heard, like what I've heard people say about this, but also because when I went to add this book to my story graph last night, I looked at the content warnings and it has some serious content warnings. Guys, you should check content warnings on your books before you commit to reading them. So, if you've read this book, you probably know what I'm talking about. And in case if you haven't read this book, please check them at your own discretion. Um, but I am going to be reading this. Like, okay, maybe I don't really want to deal with some of those topics at this moment, but I think I can handle it. So I am just gonna, because otherwise I just know that with those two things combined, if I put this book down, I know I won't be picking it up again. So the kind of motivation of reading it with a friend is gonna help me out. And I'll just read you guys the blurb, okay? When he hears her favorite Beatles song, Tour Watanabe recalls his first love, Naoko, the girlfriend of his best friend Kizuki. Immediately, he is transported back almost 20 years to his student days in Tokyo, adrift in a world of uneasy friendships, casual sex, passion, loss, and desire, to a time when an impetuous young woman called Midori marched into his life and he had to choose between the future and the past. So that's the blurb. I kind of was skimming a little bit and I read like 10 pages of this book last night. For some reason, this is giving Japanese Chetan Bhagat. To be fair, I'm not a like, I have never actually properly sat down to read Chetan Bhagat books. I read like one book by him when I was 13 years old, from the world of Percy Jackson to the world of a guy cribbing about a woman who once came into his life. I don't remember the name of the book. I don't remember anything except that the love interest's name was Aarti. And that book was given to me by a fellow 13-year-old who told me that it was the best book in the world and I should absolutely read it. So that was an experience, like a transformational experience. But I was randomly scrolling last night on Instagram and I was looking at some people's opinions of like the latest Chetan Bhagat book, and just reminded me of that one that I read when I was a kid. And honestly, yeah, this is kind of giving that like this one girl, his first love, and I'm sure she'll be like romanticized to the moon and back. And then there's this other girl, this other woman called Midori, who will march into his life and then make him choose. And the blurb itself is positioning these two women against each other, and I don't like it. Does the guy have no agency? Does he not have brains? Um, so yeah, I might be a little bit biased towards this book. So I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna read it with you guys in this vlog and we're gonna see how it goes. Okay, so I'll see you in a little bit when I've read this book a bit. Okay, also, to sort of help myself along, there are only 11 chapters in this book, some longer than others, and I have tabbed all the 11 chapters so that in case I'm not feeling motivated to read this book, I'll just do one chapter per day until I can finish the book. So that's the strategy. This is the book. There are some biases, and I'll see you soon. So it's a few days later, and I've been reading this book. The only reason I'm sticking with this book at this point is because I started making this video. So I haven't given, like, this is my first update with this book. When I started this vlog, I was about 70 pages in, I believe. And right now I'm 220 pages into this book. I've read 6 chapters and I'm on the 7th. I'm not enjoying this book. I think I can accurately predict that I'm just not gonna enjoy this book even when I'm done with it. But I'll reserve my thoughts up until the end. First of all, once again, I think I have a pirated copy because on the back of the book it says Tour Watanabe, but inside the book his name is Toru. So either he's got a nickname, or I missed something, or I've got a pirated copy. It was a thrifted copy. I got it like from an actual like thrifting shop, not one of those roadside pirated shops, because I also got a copy of The Secret Garden, and that's like a very old aged copy. Anyway, so I'm about 220 pages into this book, 222 pages in to be exact, and I don't like our main character. He is incredibly selfish, self absorbed, spreads random and like completely untrue rumors about his roommate for no good reason. His roommate was actually kind of a nice guy, and he uses that guy to like stir up trouble, create absolutely random and completely batshit insane rumors about him, and uses those as a way to socialize with his peers in his like is it a PG? It's like a college dorm residence thingy where he lives. Then he makes one friend who comes from like a rich, influential background and kind of stays with him just because of the way that the friend can get him places. Like if he wants an overnight pass, the friend can get that arranged for him. And he doesn't have to lift a finger. He gets into a fight, the friend like gets that sorted, stuff like that. Completely using people for his own gain. He has no actual real friends. He is creepily obsessed with his best friend's girlfriend. And okay, I understand that the best friend, this is a spoiler, but it's like within the first couple of chapters, the best friend took his own life. And first of all, that's like described in graphic detail in this book. So if you don't want to read that, please look at the content warnings. And even though I did look at the content warnings, it was not all the content warnings, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Right. So I understand that this guy and the best friend's girlfriend, they are probably dealing with that, and it was really something traumatic that happened to them. I understand that makes up for like cut off, messed up people, but still, I can't justify this guy's actions because at the end of the day, they were true. The internet was right. This guy just views and treats women as objects, and there's this thing like because I think we're inside his head, we know his inner monologue, and he's a terrible, shitty, nonsensical, useless, like I hate him so much kind of person. But everyone around him loves him, and I just don't get it. He doesn't even talk that much. Most of the book is his inner monologue, or even if there is like dialogue, if some characters telling their story, it's very rare that the story is actually told in the form of a conversation. It's just she told me this happened, this happened. It's I'm not vibing with the writing style, I'm not vibing with the character at all, I'm not vibing with the narration because it's first person narration from Toru's point of view, and I don't like him. I'm not liking this book. That's been my like little check-in, and I'll see you soon. Hello. So, I finally finished reading Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami and I hated it. I hated it so much. I think this is without a doubt the worst book I've ever read in my life. I wish I could have DNF'd it. I really wanted to, and honestly, I should have DNF'd it. But I kept going because of this vlog, and also because my friend is also currently reading this book. So thankfully, I'll have someone to share my trauma with from reading this book. Like, where do I even start? The main character is such a dull, he has no personality traits, dull, like characterless in both senses of the word. Like, there is no personality, no character, and also like characterless in the general sense. Useless, worthless creature on earth. He is the most shitty person that I've ever met, read, known about. He only uses people for his own gain. Every woman he sees is a possible conquest. He sleeps with so many women throughout the course of this book, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't count as cheating on his girlfriend because they didn't matter and the encounters didn't matter. He was just sleeping with them. He's um there are a lot of dark themes in this book as well, and towards the end this is a really terribly sad book. Like, it's pretty dark. Like, look at the content warnings before you read this book. But why do you want to read this book? Why? Honestly, at this point, I need to go and talk to every single person who hyped up this book so much, because guys, what are you seeing? What are you seeing that I am not seeing? That's like a week and a half of my life that I just wasted reading this book and dealing with the after effects, the aftermath of reading this book. I think I need to go to therapy now because I've read this book and try to wipe it clean from my memory. And I will be invoicing the author for the trauma that he has given me. Please feel free to fight me in the comment section and tell me that I did not get this book, because it's true. I did not get this book. And you know what? I am so glad that I did not understand the ramblings of a confused, sick man who sees every single person he meets as a transactional opportunity, but not even in an opportunistic way. He just doesn't care. He's just that apathetic. He has, like I said, no personality, nothing. There's not even any story, there's no driving factor, there's nothing. And don't even get me started about the way the women are written. They are just objects. They're just, they have as little to do with the story as a tree or a footpath or a pavement or a rock or anything like that. It's so horrible. Why did I read this? Why did I put myself through this book? There's one girl who is like supposed to be this unachievable person in the beginning, like his best friend's girlfriend. So obviously he's gonna fall in love with her. And then later on she turns into a damsel in distress, and then to like contrast against her, we have another girl who comes in who is, I think, this manic pixie dream girl character. She even has short hair and she's like really unpredictable. There's no rhyme reason to her. She keeps on talking about like really explicit stuff with our main character and then reminding him that she has a boyfriend. She's like clearly another wish fulfillment character, and so is the main character. Because what is this? What was the point of this book? I have never hated a book more. I come from a culture where we really respect like books and such, and yet I have never wanted to burn a book more. And that means something coming from someone who doesn't even dog ear her pages. I want to burn that book and send it back to hell where it came from, because honestly, why? Like, why does this book exist? Why? And I'm honestly like distraught over the money that I wasted on that book. Like, I know it was a thrifted copy, so I know it was cheaper, but even that was way too much. In fact, if I was paid 10 million bucks to read that book, I probably still would not. Had I known what I was getting myself into, I never would have been here. You never would have been watching this video, and I never would have been making it, which is like ideal. Unfortunately, here we are. Like, I would rather read 10 Cassandra Clare incest plot lines than something like that ever again. I'm just, yeah, I hated this book. I made this vlog, and that's the only reason that I finished this book. I gave it a 0.25 star because that's the least that you can give, like on Storygraph, and then on Goodreads I had to give it a whole ass star. I did not get it. I do not get it. I do not wish to get it. But I definitely need to speak to people who loved it, because like, why? And like reevaluate why these people are in my life. So there's that. And that was this video. Thank you for watching this video. This was just a little rant of me going more and more crazy after trying to read this book. And here we are. Here we are, guys. Why did I read this? I regret it so much. That's gonna be my worst read of 2026, and probably ever. I hope I never have to pick up another book like this one ever again. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Speaking of old copies of books, no. I think this is without a doubt